Almost 60% of Toyota engine damage traced back to fuel quality starts at the pump, not under the hood. That means the gas station you choose every week is silently shaping how long your engine lasts. Toyota builds some of the most durable engines on the road, but even a bulletproof 2GR or a high-efficiency 2.5 dynamic force cannot outrun bad fuel. After years of working on Toyotas, I have seen the same pattern repeat itself: carbon-choked intake valves, failing fuel injectors, corroded fuel rails, and premature catalytic converter deaths, all connected to one common habit: filling up at the wrong gas station. Most drivers pick a station based on price and convenience, but not all gasoline is the same. The base fuel may come from the same refinery, but what separates a quality station from a destructive one is the additive package, the storage condition, the filtration standards, and the maintenance of underground tanks. That difference is invisible at the pump, but devastating inside your engine over time. In this video, I am going to walk you through 10 types of gas station fuel sources that Toyota owners need to avoid immediately. And number 8 is the silent killer almost nobody talks about. Let's get into it. Number 1. Unbranded discount stations with no top-tier certification. Toyota officially recommends top-tier gasoline for all of its vehicles. Top tier is not a marketing gimmick. It is a fuel quality standard developed with direct input from automakers, including Toyota, General Motors, BMW, and Honda. Top-tier fuels are required to contain a specific concentration of detergent additives that prevent carbon deposits on intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers. Independent testing by the American Automobile Association found that non-top-tier fuels produced nearly 19 times more engine deposits than top-tier certified brands over the same mileage. That number alone should concern every Toyota owner. Unbranded stations that sell fuel at rock-bottom prices almost never meet top-tier requirements because those detergent packages cost money. They pass the savings to you at the pump, but the cost shifts to your engine in the form of carbon buildup, rough idling, misfires, and eventually major part failures. A few cents per gallon saved today can turn into hundreds or thousands of dollars in intake cleaning, injector replacement, and catalytic converter damage down the road. If a station does not display a top-tier logo, and you cannot verify it on the top-tier website, your Toyota is better off filling up somewhere else. Number 2. Stations you visit right after a fuel delivery truck leaves. This one surprises most drivers because it seems like fresh fuel would be a good thing. When a tanker drops thousands of gallons into an underground storage tank, the force of that delivery stirs up sediment, rust particles, water, and sludge that have settled at the bottom over weeks or months. That disturbed contamination mixes into the fuel and gets pumped directly into your Toyota's fuel tank before it has time to settle again. Sediment and water are devastating to Toyota's precision fuel systems. Modern direct injection Toyotas operate fuel injectors at pressures exceeding 2,000 pounds per square inch. At those pressures, even microscopic particles can score injector tips, damage the high-pressure fuel pump, and clog the fine mesh of the fuel filter inside the tank. If you pull into a station and see a tanker truck still connected or just pulling away, drive to the next station. Waiting 24 hours after a delivery allows contaminants to settle back to the bottom of the tank, well below the pickup line. That one decision protects your entire fuel delivery system. Number 3. Stations in low traffic areas with slow fuel turnover. Gasoline is not designed to sit for long periods. Over time, fuel oxidizes, loses volatility, and begins forming gums and varnish compounds. Stations in rural areas, near closed businesses, or along rarely traveled highways often sell fuel that has been sitting in underground tanks for weeks or even months. That degraded fuel burns poorly, reduces combustion efficiency, and leaves behind sticky residues that coat intake valves and piston crowns. Toyota engines tuned for precise air-fuel ratios respond poorly to stale fuel because the engine control unit cannot fully compensate for inconsistent burn characteristics. The result is rough idle, hesitation during acceleration, increased emissions, and long-term deposit accumulation. High-traffic stations cycle through their fuel inventory quickly, sometimes multiple times per week. Fresh fuel burns cleaner, protects better, and keeps Toyota's finely calibrated engine management system operating as designed. When choosing between a quiet roadside station and a busy one a mile further, the busy one almost always delivers better fuel quality. Number 4. Stations with visibly damaged or poorly maintained equipment. The condition of the gas station above ground tells you a lot about the condition below ground. Cracked pump housings, missing nozzle caps, rusted dispenser panels, and broken vapor recovery boots are all signs that the station's infrastructure is not being maintained. Underground storage tanks at neglected stations are far more likely to have corroded walls, failing seals, and compromised filtration systems. A clean, well-maintained station is a strong indicator that the underground systems are monitored and serviced regularly. Water intrusion is the biggest threat from poorly maintained tanks. Even small amounts of water and gasoline create serious problems in Toyota engines. Water does not compress like fuel, so when it reaches the combustion chamber, it can cause knocking and pressure spikes that stress pistons, rings, and rod bearings. Water also accelerates corrosion inside fuel lines, the fuel rail, and the high-pressure pump housing. Toyota's fuel system components are made from lightweight alloys designed for gasoline, not water. Repeated exposure weakens seals and promotes rust in areas that are nearly impossible to service without major disassembly. Number 5. Stations selling fuel with excessive ethanol blends beyond manufacturer specifications. Most gasoline in the United States contains up to 10% ethanol, commonly labeled E10. Toyota approves E10 for all of its gasoline models, and Toyota engineers fuel system components to tolerate that concentration. The problem arises when stations sell E15 or higher ethanol blends, sometimes without making it clearly obvious at the pump. Ethanol is corrosive to rubber seals, aluminum components, and certain plastics found in older Toyota fuel systems. At concentrations above 10%, ethanol accelerates degradation of fuel hoses, injector O-rings, and the fuel pump diaphragm. Ethanol also attracts moisture from the atmosphere, which increases the risk of water contamination inside the fuel tank. Beyond material damage, higher ethanol content reduces the energy density of the fuel, meaning your Toyota produces less power per gallon, and the ECU compensates by running richer, which accelerates carbon buildup on intake valves. Unless your Toyota is specifically rated as a flex fuel vehicle, which most are not, filling with anything above E10 introduces risks that Toyota did not design the engine to handle. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. Number 6. Stations located near active construction zones or industrial sites. This might seem unlikely, but stations near heavy construction, mining operations, or industrial facilities are exposed to airborne particulates that can infiltrate fuel storage and dispensing systems. Dust, silica, and fine debris settle onto pump nozzles, fuel caps, and dispensing equipment. Each time a nozzle enters your filler neck, it introduces micro-contaminants directly into your fuel tank. Over thousands of fill-ups, these particles accumulate, overload the fuel filter, restrict injector flow, and create abrasive conditions inside the fuel pump. Toyota's in-tank fuel pump assemblies use fine mesh screens designed to catch normal sediment, not construction-grade particulate. Once that screen becomes restricted, fuel delivery drops and the pump works harder, runs hotter, and fails earlier than it should. Stations in clean commercial or suburban areas with sealed canopies and maintained forecourts present significantly lower contamination risks. The environment surrounding the station matters more than most drivers realize. Number 7. Stations where diesel and gasoline share closely spaced pumps with no clear labeling. Misfueling, putting even a small amount of diesel into a gasoline Toyota, is more common than people think. Stations with poorly organized pump layouts, faded labels, or shared nozzle cradles increase the risk dramatically. Diesel fuel does not ignite the same way gasoline does. Even a small percentage of diesel mixed into your Toyota fuel tank can foul spark plugs, coat oxygen sensors, clog catalytic converters, and cause severe misfires. Toyota's NOx sensors and fuel trim systems will attempt to compensate, but they cannot overcome the fundamental chemistry mismatch. Cleaning a diesel-contaminated fuel system on a Toyota often requires draining the tank, flushing every fuel line, replacing the fuel filter, cleaning or replacing injectors, and sometimes replacing the catalytic converter. That repair bill can easily exceed $2,000 to $3,000. Always verify the fuel grade before inserting the nozzle. A 2-second glance prevents a $2,000 mistake. Number 8. Stations that consistently price fuel far below every competitor in the area. This is the silent killer. When one station is dramatically cheaper than every other station within several miles, something is being cut. Either the detergent additive package is minimal, the fuel is blended with a higher ethanol concentration than advertised, or the station is sourcing from a low-cost distributor with weaker quality controls. Federal regulations set a minimum standard for fuel, but that minimum is well below what Toyota recommends. Meeting the legal minimum does not mean the fuel protects your engine. It means the fuel is legal to sell. There is a significant gap between what the law requires and what your Toyota's intake valves, injectors, and combustion chambers actually need. The detergent additives that prevent carbon buildup, protect seals, and reduce deposit formation are expensive. Stations operating on razor-thin margins often use the absolute minimum allowed. Over the course of 30,000 to 50,000 miles, that difference shows up as carbon deposits that restrict airflow, injectors that lose spray pattern accuracy, and catalytic converters that lose efficiency. Cheap fuel is never actually cheap. The cost just shows up later, under the hood. Number 9. Stations where you notice water droplets or unusual color in the fuel. If you ever pump fuel and see water beads on the nozzle, a milky or cloudy appearance in the fuel, or a strong, unusual odor, stop immediately. These are signs of contaminated fuel that should never reach your engine. Water-contaminated fuel causes immediate problems in Toyota direct injection systems because the high-pressure fuel pump cannot compress water. The result is pressure spikes that can crack pump internals, damage injector tips, and cause catastrophic misfires. Contaminated fuel that contains rust, sludge, or chemical pollutants attacks fuel system O-rings and seals from the inside. Toyota's fuel system sensors may trigger a check engine light, but by the time the warning appears, damage has already occurred. If you suspect contamination, do not start the engine. Have the fuel tank drained and the system inspected before attempting to drive. Reporting the station to your state's Department of Agriculture or Weights and Measures Division helps protect other drivers and triggers an official fuel quality investigation. Number 10. Stations that do not display any fuel quality certification or brand affiliation. Transparency matters. Reputable fuel stations proudly display their brand, their top-tier certification, and their compliance with state fuel quality standards. When a station operates with no visible brand name, no certification stickers, and no posted fuel quality information, there is no accountability for what goes into their tanks. These anonymous stations source fuel from whoever offers the lowest price on any given week. That means the additive package, ethanol content, and base fuel quality can change with every delivery. Your Toyota's ECU is constantly learning and adjusting fuel trims based on the fuel it receives. When fuel chemistry fluctuates wildly from fill-up to fill-up, the adaptive system never stabilizes. That leads to inconsistent performance, increased emissions, and accelerated wear on oxygen sensors and catalytic converters. Toyota's long-term fuel trim data from these vehicles consistently shows erratic patterns that indicate unstable fuel chemistry. Choosing a certified, branded station gives your Toyota's engine management system the consistency it needs to operate efficiently and protect itself over hundreds of thousands of miles. The bottom line is this: Toyota engineers spent decades perfecting engine timing, fuel delivery, and combustion efficiency. All of that precision depends on one thing the driver controls: the quality of the fuel entering the tank. Every shortcut at the pump, whether it is saving 5 cents a gallon or filling up at the most convenient station without checking its standards, chips away at the protection your engine needs. Carbon deposits do not form overnight. Injector damage does not happen in one tank. Catalytic converters do not fail from a single fill-up. These failures build slowly, invisibly, tank after tank, until the repair bill arrives all at once. Choosing a top-tier certified station, avoiding contaminated or degraded fuel, and paying attention to the condition of the station itself are simple habits that protect the most expensive mechanical system in your vehicle. Toyota built the engine to last. The fuel you choose decides whether it will. If you are enjoying this video, consider watching this one where I am sharing the exact maintenance habits that push Toyota engines past 500,000 miles.